In Acts 17:22, here Paul is talking. He said, "Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious." And I got to thinking that word superstitious of, how we think, going under a ladder is 7 years of bad luck, or we can't let a black cat cross the road, or, don't break the mirror, and all these different things. And I thought, Paul, is that what you meant? But as I began to study it out, what he meant by superstitious was religious. He says, you have too much religious about you. And you say, how is that? How can someone have too much religious about them? If you continue reading on in verse 23, he says, "For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, for I found an altar with this inscription." Paul says he came by, he beheld our devotions, he's seen how they worshipped. Paul was telling him, "I've seen how you worshipped. I've seen what you've done." And he says, and then I come across an altar, and it said this, "To the unknown God," is what it said, "whom therefore ye ignorantly worship him, declare I unto you." Paul was saying, you're too superstitious. What he's saying is, you're too religious. You're wrapped up in the way things are, and the way things should go, and the logistics of things, and the little details. You're wrapped up in everything else, but he says you're lacking a relationship. He says you're lacking a relationship with Christ. If you read on in the rest of Acts 17, he goes on to tell them how God made the heavens and the stars, and God made the moons, and God made the earth in 7 days, and yet he still wants you. He adopts you like a son. He says you are an heir, and it talks about you are the offspring of God. You are like his son. You are like his daughter. Too many times we get on and we think God's such a God that we can't never get around. We'll never be able to get a hold of who he really is. But he's saying you're lacking the relationship. And it says to know God, to experience him, to acknowledge him. He's saying you wrap yourself up in how long the skirt is, or how short the hair is, or guys, or if we have on the right stuff and all of the religious nature about it. But he's saying, get a relationship with him. You're worshiping a God and it's almost meaningless because you're having a time where you don't even know him. On an altar says an unknown God. Develop a relationship with him. Seek after him. Have a relationship with him.